The new double barrel carburetor is on. I just poured a little gas in the hole. Chat 327 back in the shop with Major Murray, and this is episode 2. I would like to front bumper, LEDs, the wiring, the switch, more aggressive back tires, pulley swapping. That should be enough for episode 2. Also picked up a jack stand just for Major Murray. I'm always hunting jack stands. That one was $5 at a yard sale, and I'm gonna paint it to match. Only catch is that is camo sand. This is camo khaki. I guess it'd be an accent color. I got this because I couldn't find that. I've been to several stores. Anyway, the front bumper will be khaki. The jack stand will be khaki. And up next, I'm going to make some front bumper brackets out of this bed frame. Front bumper update, I just cut these 2 brackets. I drilled these 3 holes, these 3 holes, and they're going to bolt to the frame. I took this bolt out. I'm going to use that hole, this hole, and a little tip. I usually buy bolts. They sell them individually. I went to Tractor Supply and they sold me by the pound grade 8 bolts. $6 a pound. I think it was $6.09 a pound. That's a much better way to go. And if you're wondering what a pound of grade 8 bolts, these are 1.5 inches long. There's 10 bolts, 10 flat washers, 4 lock nuts, and 20 nuts. And I've already used some here. I should stop by my local hardware store and see what that would have been if I bought them individually. Anyway, this is basically what the front bumper is going to look like. A little bit higher and a little bit more level. That's going to be what it looks like. So I just welded the front bumper together. It looks almost identical to Fast Mower's front bumper. Once we get the other piece on, it'll look different. Anyway, I got to find 2 more bolts. These need to be a little bit shorter. I'm going to paint it, and then we're going to install it. The bumper and bracket are now ready for paint. The bracket's going to be black. The bumper's going to be khaki. And let's not forget about the matching jack stand. And I'll flip the bumper over and show you that Chud is on the other side. That way if somebody tries to steal Major Murray, it's got my name on it. So the jack stand is all finished. I really like it. Anyway, it shows the difference between the khaki and the sand. The wheel is sand. I think I like sand better. Anyway, the bumper's going to be khaki. I don't think I'll be able to notice as long as we don't tell anybody. Anyway, Major has the jack stand. Poland, I made one for Poland a long time ago. That was one for Motomo. I guess I got to find one for Colonel Craftsman next. So I was just looking at the sand wheels and the khaki bumper, and I remembered that I have a little bit of sand left. I might have enough to make the bumper match the wheels. So I just dug through my exhaust collection. It'd be neat to have one of these under Major Murray. Maybe a little bit too shiny. Anyway, I dug all my exhaust for mowers out. This is all of my mower exhaust collection. I don't have enough to make an exhaust system for Major Murray. So good news, we're going to run open exhaust for a while. And more good news, the bumper bracket has been installed. This bumper looks a little bit higher than Colonel Craftsman's. We'll take it over in a minute, do a little comparison. Okay, as we do a side-by-side comparison, Major's bumper is clearly higher than Colonel's if we measure. Looks like about 15 inches versus about 11 and a half. I'm also noticing the tires, I don't know if you can see it or not. Let me back one of them up. These tires are an inch wider, these are an inch taller. These are 19 by 7s, these are 18 by 9, 9.5. Okay, as far as LEDs go, I got these two aux beam lights, and I wanted to put them behind this glass. There's a metal cup back there. There's some tabs you got to bend. I'm thinking if I bend those tabs, they might break off. Then I thought about putting them behind here, but that bar is kind of wide. It'd block a lot of your light. Now I'm debating on putting them right where you see them. That don't look really military to me, but that's probably the best option. What do you think? So I've pulled back in the garage. I'm still thinking about the LEDs. If I leave them sitting there, they'll probably grow on me. That's probably where they're going to go. And in episode 1, I didn't do a price breakdown. I bought a can of paint, sand, a can of flat black. Other than that, I already had the tires, already had the bumper, already had the LEDs, already had the back tires, already had the mower. The mower I got in a trade. I gave a push mower deck. That probably got up, what, $2 at the scrapyard? And this engine I already had. So I've got $2 in that, $10 in the paint. I used about half the bolts, $3. That's about $15 total. If you want to count the khaki's another $5, and the jack stand, I got it for $5, so that would be $25 total. Let's don't count the paint and the jack stand. We'll just say right now, $15 total on the build. Up next, this is my kill switch. Touch it to there. Start it with something metal on the solenoid. Let's work on the wiring next. Okay, on the wiring, on my solenoid, somebody had all these little wires going to the wrong side of the solenoid, so I just switched those over. Forgot to put the lug nuts back on. I got my grease. Anyway, when we hit the key now, it's actually trying to do something. It's better than it was. So I just used a combination of a wire brush, some sandpaper, some electrical grease, and a wrench, and I've tightened up this connection on the starter. Let's hit the switch. I can live with that. So right now the only thing I've got to figure out is the ground wire that comes from the coils. I went and plugged this guy in, and I went ahead and plugged that guy in. This is my headlights. That's your charging wire from out of the stator. That goes to your headlights, and both headlights work. So I think I'll put these back in those big, maybe mount the LEDs up here, run those different. Anyway, last thing on the wiring is that ground wire. So the wiring is now finished. This yellow wire, when you turn the key off, the yellow goes over to the green goes to the ground, it goes to here. The yellow wire used to go around to some safety switches. Now it goes straight to the black wire that goes to the coils. So when you turn the key off, I'll demonstrate. That's the headlights on. That's headlights off. That's engine off. We need to clean this wiring up a little bit and put the, I can't decide if that's fenders or if that's hood. You let me know. Anyway, got to get that back on. Button up all these wires. I might put some tape around that. So I just put some gas in Major Murray. I spilled about 2.5 drops. I'm pretty proud of that. Anyway, if all goes as planned, I'll hit the key. It'll start. We'll have headlights. They'll get brighter when we rev it. Let's see how it goes. That's what the amp gauge looks like. It does not work, but it looks better than an empty hole. So it is the next day. I'm back out with Major Murray, and last night I went for a night ride. These headlights, they're more like parking lights. It'd be for people to see you instead of you seeing things. Anyway, in the video I had these lights sitting here and they actually look pretty good. And after seeing how dim these were, I think I'm gonna go for it. Right about here. I believe I'll put them in line with the brackets. I gotta drill 2 holes, run a couple wires, find a switch. That's going to be perfect. Anyway, on the wiring of the LEDs, I've got the hot going here. This you heat up with a heat gun, melts all together. The other one, that's going to run down to one of these bumper bolts using this. And I found a switch for it, which would be pretty, but I don't know how waterproof that is. Probably won't use that. There they go again, flying for Major Murray. Here is what the LEDs look like in the daytime. I'm squinting. So on the LEDs, instead of going to town and buying a switch, I just hooked them on with the other headlights using this fancy little connector. Might be test drive time. Ready? Chud 327 right back with Major Murray, and the update on the naming of the mower, it's Major Blank Murray. The leader right now on Patreon, $10 a month, is Dan with Canadian Pacific. Major Dan Murray. If the other guy, TJ, he was trying to get his name on here, if he steps up to $11, or I guess $10 and a penny, it would be Major TJ Murray. Or if one of you guys want to step up, it's Patreon, the link is in the description. Beat whoever the leader is, and you could have your name, Major whoever Murray. Anyway, in this bag, I thought this was going to be Major Murray Stays Slow in this episode because I've been to several different Tractor Supplies. They seem to be out of pulleys. Then today I found a brand new Tractor Supply. They had the hub I need, a 1-inch shaft. I have a 6-inch pulley. I don't know how big of a pulley will fit on this. We're going to start with a 6-inch. That's the same pulley that Colonel Craftsman has. Right now the top speed is 6. Colonel Craftsman used to be 6. Once I put the 6-inch pulley, it became a 12-mile-an-hour mower. Or if we can fit it, I also bought a 7-inch pulley. That would be faster than Colonel Craftsman. Or if we can fit it, I got an 8-inch pulley. Whatever the biggest one we can put on here, that's what we're going to do. That way we get the most speed. And then I'll take the other 2 back, and that'll pay for the belt. Step 1, I'm going to take this to the garage, get that 3-inch pulley off, see which one of these fits the best, weld the hub on, and we got to run to the store. Before I get started, I got to clean out the shop. The boy's been fixing up his new car. He's got a Honda. I don't know if he's going to make a video. If he does, I'll leave a link to it. And I've got to get fast mowers out. I've been working on the idler pulley on this, keeping the belt from slipping. That video coming soon. Major still has fast mower seat. So I just got Major back in the shop and I said, wait a minute, if you take the pulley off here, you're going to have to push it to the trailer, push it up on the trailer. Why don't we go put it on the trailer now, pull the pulley off there, put the new pulley on, and then I can take it to Tractor Supply for the belt. You know, try them on there, try it before you buy it. Better than making a bunch of trips. So it looks like we're going with a 7-inch pulley. The only issue with the 8-inch pulley, that nut sticking right there kind of interferes with it. I've got about a 3/8 of an inch between this 7-inch pulley and that bolt tip. If you put the 8 on there, you'd have to run the pulley down about a 1/2 inch lower, which would probably be okay. But why risk it? This is going to be over twice as fast. And here's the new pulley. It's been welded together. It's been painted. I got to crawl up under and put it in place. Here's the key. Just came back from the parts store. I got a A106. It's supposed to be 108 inches. That don't make a whole lot of sense to me. Anyway, we got to see if it fits, see if it works. Looks kind of cheap. See how long it lasts. It was a total of $29 something cent. Okay, for our cold start, it's actually 50 degrees, which is kind of cool for Florida. Let's put this up and let's see a little bit of choke. Some throttle. Just came back from a speed run. I think I saw a 14. Let me freeze frame that for you right here. Anyway, the belt came off twice. Up next, bed frame scraps. I'm gonna make some belt keepers. Belt keeper number 1 has been welded together and painted. As soon as it dries, we'll stick it on. There is belt guard number 1, and there is my second belt guard. Let's hope that keeps the belt on. I think it's time for a test drive. So I'm right here with Major and I'm really getting into this build. I was at the flea market today and I saw some desert camo pants and I said, I gotta get those to wear when I ride Major Murray. Anyway, then I went around the house and I started collecting things that were brown or tan or in that family. I've had this bag for a long time. Everything in this bag I've had. The only thing I bought was the pants. These match pretty good. Also got a brown thermal long sleeve, a light camo shirt, a bandana, and a tan hat. And that'll do it for episode number 2. Thank you for watching. Be sure to leave a like and a comment for Major Murray. In episode number 3, I want to do something with the exhaust. I need to change the oil, and we need to drive it some more. I'm thinking maybe take it to the river and try it out in the sand. And also in episode number 3, let's pick a name for it. Right now it's looking like it's going to be Major Dan. Hit me up on Patreon if you want your name to be in there. Thanks for watching.